And where are we on this, John?
Well, I thought we were going to be able to resolve this, but we were unable to. So I guess we're going to have a hearing, Your Honor.
So what's the issue?
Well, I'm not really quite sure. The tenant wants 6 months to move all of the stuff out. That's one issue. And I told him that we can't provide him 6 months. We can give him a little bit more than the 10-day statutory period. And the other thing is that he feels for one reason or another that there was an agreement that if he moved out, which he still hasn't moved out, that he didn't owe any back rent. Did I accurately?
Correct.
Those
Yeah,
are.
we had a verbal agreement that if I was to move out, that I would no longer be paying the rent. I told him I couldn't pay the rent and move out. And I thought we had come to a mutual agreement that it would be best for both parties if I just moved everything out.
And it's my client's position that no agreement was made. And even if one was, the client still hasn't moved out and still wants another 6 months to move out, Your Honor.
So you're not disputing that the rent's owed?
Right. Well, I am, because I had an agreement with the landlord to, if I moved out, in lieu of paying the back rent.
Which he hasn't moved out, even if there was an agreement.
But I'm in the process of moving out.
But
Really, guys, I hear you. You guys can keep repeating it, but I can.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
From one moment to the next. I get it. So, I mean, there are two parts, so that you understand this, sir. There are two parts of this case. One is the possession issue, and then the monetary issue. In terms of the possession issue, I don't see that there's an issue for me to try, because the condition of you staying is, first of all, to pay rent. Even if, I'm not saying that I'd make a finding that there is, even if there is this other agreement that you move and you don't owe the rent, the only bearing that has on the possession issue is you were supposed to move, right? So I can bifurcate the hearing so that we deal with just the possession issue and then set it for a further hearing as to the money claim. But if I do that, then the question is when are you going to move? Because I think they'd be entitled to a judgment for possession. And the reality is that if I do that, finding no tribal issue on the issue of possession, it's going to be 10 days. I can tell you that even using my discretion, I wouldn't give you 6 months to move. So if we just deal with that part of it, when can you be out?
I mean, I said realistically 6 months because there's so much stuff. I understand that that's not agreeable with them. But I've tried to work with them. I even offered another solution to conduct a liquidation auction. But I said, even that's going to take, probably 2 months realistically, and everything still won't sell. So I did make a promise that I would clear the property out in lieu of not paying rent, but I would make sure that it was, left empty. And that's why I came up with the 6 months, because I know that's still going to take time. Even after I liquidate a vast majority of the stuff, it's still going to take time to remove the junk. And I'm willing to pay for the removal of all the trash that's in there and leave it empty. But I don't think that's agreeable.
Well, they've said it's not agreeable.
The other problem I'm having is I just found out recently, a few minutes ago, that the person I've been dealing with apparently is no longer the owner of the property. So the person that I've been dealing with, the person that I had a verbal agreement with, I guess is no longer, making the calls. And I was not aware of that, which I guess explains why I haven't heard back from the person that I had made this deal with, because I just found that out a few minutes ago.
Well, Your Honor, speaking to that aspect only, the owner's still the owner. The son has been managing the property for the last year or so. So I don't know I think that's what you're referring to,
I
correct?
guess I just meant I wasn't aware that, the person that I was talking to isn't actually running the operation anymore, so, when I was told, I won't charge you any rent if you can move everything out, you know, and at the time I talked to him last, I didn't give him,
Yeah, but
a time.
that's, again, the problem with that is, if I assume that's true, you haven't moved.
I'm in the
Which
process.
means if you haven't moved, that means you still owe the rent. Right? Which means they'd be entitled to a judgment and you'd still owe the money.
But the agreement that I had was that I wouldn't be paying anymore if I moved out.
But you haven't moved out.
Correct. I'm in the process of moving out.
Well, according to his own words, Your Honor, that's a 6 months ordeal. So, I mean, I could say I'm moving out of my house by taking a dish at a time.
Well, this isn't a one bedroom apartment. This is a 10,000 square foot warehouse that's packed to the rafters with stuff. So it's not, you know, it took several years.
I get back to my same question. For you, how much time are you looking? 6 months is not going to happen.
Okay.
So here, just let me finish this. The statutory period would be 10 days.
Right.
I get the circumstance that you're in, so maybe that's not realistic that it's a 10 days.
Right.
But I can tell you that even if I use the furthest reaches of my discretion to give additional time, it's not going to be near 6 months.
Okay.
And so if you guys can't decide, I'm going to pick a date on the possession issue, and then I set it for trial on the monetary issue. But you guys are going to have to decide. It's going to have to be something realistic, sir. I mean, they're entitled to the possession of their property by even what your agreement was. They're entitled to possession.
I mean, I can guarantee I can't move everything out in 10 days. It's not.
How much, what would be the fastest?
I mean, 4 months, is that agreeable?
No, that still puts us in the same position.
It's, like I said, I've probably moved half of it out within the past, 3 months. It's gonna take, I would say, at least 4 months, realistically.
I mean, no.
We'll let Your Honor make that decision.
That's really don't want me to do that. Nobody gets happy then. But I've listened to everybody. As to the issue of possession, I'm going to find that there's no tribal issue as to the issue of possession only. I'm going to issue an order of eviction on or after June 30th.
After what, June 30th, Your Honor?
Yes, June 30th.
Thank you very much.
I will also, on the monetary, on the damages and money issues on the case, I'll set a trial on that matter for July 15th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
Thank you. And I will prepare the order on the possession. I'll submit it to the court. I'll submit a copy to you.
Will I be getting a copy? Because that's the other thing. I haven't received any court summons or anything.
Well, we have a proof of service in the file, Your Honor.
What do you mean you haven't received any summons?
The only summons that I received was the one that was taped to the door, and
Well, that's service.
I was under the impression that I was also supposed to be mailed something as well. The one that was taped to the door had the address in Saline, which is why I wasn't here at noon, because I went to the courthouse in Saline and they said, "Oh, you're at the wrong place." And then I called the number that was on the summons, and the number was for Wayne County Courthouse. So my summons that I received on the door was riddled.
So what do you want me to do with that? You're here. I've heard your case.
I'm just saying, am I going to receive?
Yes.
Mailing?
I'll tell you what. Here's what we'll do. You'll get a judgment. Prepare a judgment. I'll sign it and I'll give you a copy. Thank you.
The judgment up at the counter.
Yes, get a judgment out at the counter, sign it, and then get it all prepared, and then I'll do that.
Thank you, Your Honor.